Hi, this is Roger, thanks for dropping by. This is going to be a short one for practical reasons. Didn't realise my big battery had got that low, so I've got one of the backup batteries in and they don't last long. So if I don't get a move on, it will cut me off anyway. First of all, thanks for everybody who's left comments and everything regarding the health issues. All I want to say about that now is it's being controlled. Whether the controls are going to work or not, we have to wait and see. I do have some worries about the sudden influx of chemicals and stuff to help with the problem. I mean, basically I've got tablets to reduce my heart rate. Well, what if they're a bit strong and it reduces my heart rate too much? Yeah? I've got blood thinners, no, I'm okay with that. And I've also got the ones that I didn't get that I'll get on Tuesday are to lower cholesterol. So obviously they're going for everything, but it's the dosage I worry about. How random are they? Or are they just an average for somebody who's got similar readings on an ECG to me? That remains to be seen, and I'll just have to monitor me. I'll just have to, am I okay? Is everything as it should be? The only person who can really tell that is yourself, you know. So I should just have to keep my eye on myself. Rather worrying thing this morning, I did the second half of my watering. I didn't film it, you know, following on from yesterday's video. I did the rest of the potted orchids. When I came to update my notes, I've lost an orchid. Now I don't remember throwing it away, but my little yellow Nellie Isla that had a nice new growth on it, I can't find it. You know, there's only so many shelves in here, and I just can't find the flipping thing. So maybe I did throw it away, or maybe it'll just turn up and I'm just not looking properly. Anyway. So thanks for all your comments on the videos and everything, it's appreciated. And also thanks for everybody who supports the channel generally anyway. You know, we always do that on a Sunday. I won't go into huge details, but just thanks for all the support. It's appreciated, to say the least. Now, following on, because I don't want to go mad on this, I'm sure you've heard enough, but my diet proper starts tomorrow. There's a little ceremony this morning. My last toast breakfast, the last couple of slices of bread, scraped out the last of the butter out of the pack or spread, and used the last of the marmalade because I'm doing away with bread, so I won't be having the need for any of that anymore. So tomorrow we have eggs for breakfast. Yay! And my home delivery, which was destined for Tuesday, I changed for today so that I can actually start what I want. I have a mind that works on starting afresh from a given point, and I think the beginning of a week is a good time to start stuff. So from tomorrow the diet starts proper. So from tomorrow we switch to eggs, fish, and mainly light coloured meat, as I call it. And get rid of all the starchy stuff, most of the carbohydrates. I mean, I'll still have a portion of rice now and again with the appropriate meal. And I'm not going to be absolutely strict with it. It's a guideline to be stuck to as best as possible. So that's what I'm going to do. I will set up a spreadsheet tomorrow and I will take my weight, which is part of the issue, probably a larger part of the issue than I appreciated, and I will weigh myself first thing Monday morning each week and we'll record it so that hopefully can see some progress, and in a month's time there'd better be some progress. Temporarily I'm going to cut the wine out altogether, on the grounds that the stuff that I've got that I haven't got yet, the stuff that I'll get on Tuesday to reduce cholesterol, it's advised not to have alcohol with that, And I mean, if I'm going to do this properly, I should follow the advice, shouldn't I? So we'll cut that out completely for a while. Obviously there's a weight issue with the wine. This is now totally decaf. I tried it and I can't taste the difference. So as a major influence on heart rate and blood pressure, we've got rid of the caffeine. So we're now down to the decaf. Unfortunately, it means I've got a full jar of the non-decaf stuff that, you know, I don't know when that'll ever get used now. But if that's a sacrifice I have to make, so be it. This tastes exactly the same as the half and half. I can't tell the difference. And the other thing I've done with the coffee is cut down the amount of sugar that goes in it. So it's now a slightly less than level teaspoon, and that's good sugar as well. That's pure unrefined Demerara sugar. So it's a start, and as I said, I'll monitor the progress. I'm sure I will be monitored. Oh, hang on, the camera's making noises. Yeah, the battery's about to go red. I'll put the other one in and we'll use that one up, and then we'll go from there. So I'll be back. Right, we'll see how long this one lasts. Yeah, it's just an oversight. I didn't think that the battery was that low. Anyway, what I wanted to talk about as far as the Sunday chat orchid wise is concerned is bud blast. And this came about as a suggestion on the grounds that at some point in a video I mentioned some buds had blasted on one of my plants, and somebody put in can we have a chat about why that might happen? Well, unfortunately there are many reasons. There is no one reason, but one word will sum up most of the reasons. Environmentals. But it needs some words in front of it. It needs changes in environmentals. The most common reason is a dramatic change in one or some of the environmental factors that our orchids live in. One of those could be an orchid that's just come out of a nursery where it was growing in perfect conditions, and it's come home to you and it's now in non-perfect conditions. That will be a change in light, heat and humidity all at once, and a plant with sensitivity will drop its buds. If those buds are all open and the plant's fully in flower, it will probably be fine. It's the buds it affects, and it's often the smaller ones near the end of, well, often the smaller ones are at the end of the spike, aren't they? But those are the ones that normally get hit. In a bad instance, you could lose all the buds on a spike, just leaving the blooms that are either partially open or that have already opened. A draft can affect buds. So having a plant that's pushing up, nice spike, couple of blooms open, some more buds to open, you open a window near it and get a cool airflow, which you think, oh, that's lovely, that's cooled the room down nicely. Yeah, but if it's a draft, it's a different thing to changing the air. And by draft, the easy way I can explain a draft is when you're hot, you do that. Yeah, that's a draft. Yeah, because it's not natural. You know, or getting a proper fan or a piece of cardboard wafted in it. That's a draft. Yeah, as opposed to airflow, which is a very gentle movement that keeps the air gently moving around the place. A draft is normally a single directional airflow that is at a different temperature or causing a temperature drop. So go steady with drafts, that will do it. Then we get on to the reasons in my case for both of the... One of the plants was Hercoglossum, and I said the blooms had just opened, so that's the point at which I said most of the other buds on this plant have blasted. And the other spike was the Brassia, which basically the top buds, the end of the spike, the buds had blasted. Well, that's not in a draft, it's had no environmental changes. So you say, well, why then? The plant isn't strong enough to support the number of buds. Now, in the case of the Hercoglossom, the plant might be dying, that bad. It's not a happy plant by any means. It's not grown any new growths this year. Consequently, there's no new root activity. It's been taken off a mount and put in a pot. It's an unhappy plant and it might be lost. But I've got kikis on it which I will take off, as I've done with quite a few of the other dendrobiums, and try and get it going via kiki so as not to lose the actual species. Now the Brassica, as far as that's concerned, same reason, except for the piece of the plant that the spike is on is not dying, it's just not mature enough yet. That plant was split up into pieces. The pieces were put in a single pot to grow on. And that piece that's decided to push a spike up isn't really strong enough to do it. So it can only supply a certain amount of energy into that spike, and prior to the spike completing all of its buds and everything, it's run out. It's just short on energy. And that will be partly because it's an immature plant, as that piece is concerned, and as such has probably not got a full-blown root system yet. So there are some reasons for you. But a lot of the time it's a change of environment. So it's going from quite a humid atmosphere into a very dry atmosphere. So like coming out of a greenhouse type environment, you know, where you've got quite high humidity and everything, and coming into a home environment which has normally got very dry air. Also, a dramatic change in light can do it, going from quite heavy shade into bright light. Suddenly introducing some sunshine onto a spike when it hasn't had any. Just again, dramatic change in light. So changes in environmentals, majority of reasons, and the plant has insufficient resources to support the whole spike. Yeah? So those are your main reasons. And it can be that you've just let the plant dry right out and it's not got enough, literally it hasn't got enough hydration in it. So something's got to give, and the first thing it'll do is dump the spike rather than lose the plant, if you see what I mean. So yeah, it's mainly environmentals. Anyway, a short Sunday chat today. I nearly didn't do one. Stuff is playing on my mind. Most people would say, oh, understandably, but I'm not that sort of person. I was talking to Hannah on the phone yesterday, trying to arrange when she's next coming down, which is a bit difficult at the moment because of other things going on. But I said to her, when I drive off from here, from home, up the road, I go past the green where both the medical centre and the pharmacy are. And you see lots of people walking up the green and on the pavement with their little white bag in their hand. And it always made me smile because I've never been one of those people. And now I'm one of those people. I came out with my little white bag. And I'm, well, looking at the prescription that goes with the meds that I've got, they've given me a supply that's going to last quite a long time. I mean, the prescription doesn't run out until the autumn. So unless I need a change of actual dosage, which means I'd need different tablets, then I've got enough to last more time than I want, but we'll live with it, and I think that's a valid expression. I'll live with it. When I was explaining to Hannah, I was saying that the guy repeated an expression, you know, we need to get some things sorted out here before you have a stroke. And when that expression's casually used once, you sort of, oh well, but when it's repeated on several parts of the conversation, you think, I think he's taking this pretty seriously. So obviously the ECG readings, along with the blood pressure and Everything was a lot more serious than I was expecting. So we take it easy, we don't go climbing mountains or running races or anything silly, and just see how it progresses. I think that's all you can do really, is, you know, take the tablets, take it easy, change the diet to get rid of this, which is a major factor involved here. With the BMI, is it, body mass index, there are levels. It's a bit like your blood pressure, it comes into ranges, and I'd gone over the top one. I'm technically obese according to my BMI. It's not funny, you know. Okay, I'm carrying some round the middle. Didn't think it had got that bad. So we need to drop quite a bit of weight, and what I did was, there's an NHS, our health systems, calculator for BMI, where you put in your height and you put in your weight and it tells you your BMI. Well, obviously you can play with that and keep changing the weight, because your height don't change, does it? Keep changing the weight until you get a BMI reading that you actually like. That's the weight you need to aim at. Now, to get down into the overweight category, which is quite a wide band, so to come out of obese and just into overweight is not going to take much effort. To come out of overweight into a healthy weight, it's not funny. We're looking at 20 kilos, which in old money is a flipping lot. It's about 3 stone, I think. So the chances of getting to that level are relatively slim, I would say. That certainly won't happen quickly, but I can get down out of this obese and get down into just being a bit overweight. And I have a measure, first of all, taking, you know, actually weighing myself and recording it. But about 2 years ago, I think it was, Hannah bought me a shirt for my birthday. It's a very expensive shirt and it's absolutely gorgeous and I absolutely love it, and I can't wear it because I can't do the buttons up. You know, it does this all down the front. So there's a test, there's something to aim at, is to be able to wear that shirt. That'd be good. And in addition to that, you get your gradual things that you don't really notice, like when you put your trousers on and you do your belt up, and suddenly when you pull your belt it goes up to the next hole. Oh, that's good. So we have some ways of measuring it. I do have my home blood pressure tester, which I can use now and again, especially now, because it was always difficult to use that thing, to find a period in the day where I wasn't influencing my blood pressure because of the coffee I drink. Well, now I can. It's decaf. The other good thing about decaf is I can have a cup in the middle of the afternoon if I like. Bearing in mind I wouldn't have it might be nice to have a glass of wine and go and sit on the bench with Mojo in the sunshine. Well, if we're not doing the wine, then I'm going to need something else. So I'm going to have a coffee, can't I? It's not going to keep me awake. That's why I stopped drinking coffee lunchtime in the past. Kept me awake at night. Well, now it won't. And bearing in mind this is my main hydration, is the water content in my coffee, to a degree. So there we go. And as I say, I don't know what I'll be filming this week. There's actually an orchid show on today that I could have got to. It's in Bristol, not a million miles away, and it's a friend Dino that's actually organised it. Spice Exotic are there as well. It would have been worth a visit to try and perhaps get a few more orchids in, replace some of the stuff that's gone. I mean new ones, not physical replacements, but it's in the middle of the town centre. There's nowhere to flipping park. Nowhere to park. It's just multi-stories and quite a way away. And there's virtually no roadside parking in a town centre. You know, it's all yellow lines. You can't park there. Blocks the road, especially in the older part of Bristol. Very narrow roads in places, and they've had to be made one way simply because there isn't room for cars to pass. So I gave it a miss in the end. yeah, perhaps another time. But yeah, I mean, the easy answer would have been to park on the outskirts of town and get a bus in, because I've got a bus pass, so it would have been free. And then I could have got a bus that went somewhere near it, and then, but then, you know, Bristol's a bit like that as well. So you get off the bus here, and you've got to do that to get there, and I'm not supposed to be doing any of that. So anyway, we'll leave it at that for today. And as I say, thanks for all the support. It is appreciated. Does feel a bit on my own, a bit vulnerable for the first time. I'm not that person. That's not me. I tend to, I just sort myself out. You know, I just get things sorted. But this needs help, and that's something I don't normally need. I get ideas from people, but actual help. For instance, when we come to do this hedge out here, that's the big heavy hedge trimmer on the, you know, with the motor on the end of the pole. So these things will have to be thought of now. How much effort and strain would that put on something that's not working properly? So anyway, I haven't got a clue how long these meds are going to take to actually get things back to some sort of normality, if they ever do. So we've just got to run with it. Bad expression to use. We'll walk very gently and carefully with it. Won't be doing any running, that's for sure. Day off tomorrow from orchid videos. I might do a bit in the garden. I've got a bit of pruning to do now. Don't panic. The laurel bush out there needs pruning. That's only this high, and it's secateurs and bits of stuff that go straight in the bag with my bag holder. It's not exactly strenuous, and it's almost stood still as well, and nothing heavy, nothing, you know. So I might have a go at that tomorrow, but I might find something to film in the garden tomorrow. We shall see. And I still haven't done the staging for the cymbidiums. There is a little bit of an element there that's a trifle worrying. To fix the feet onto the legs, I've got to turn it upside down. It's heavy. So I'm going to try and find a way of like tipping it up on end and then tipping it over, so that I'm physically not lifting it off the ground to try and turn it over. Plus I thought of another problem, which I didn't think of before. If you imagine these little feet, these two screws are going to go into the leg, and the leg is like that, yeah? And then I've got to screw 4 screws into the corners of these square bits. What's going to happen when I put full pressure on there? You see what I'm getting at? Because the leg is going to be along the centre, and I've got to use the 4 corners. So I think what I will probably do is I'll put the foot on and put it somewhere flat where I can get at it, and use the drill and put those screws in. Actually screw the wheel onto there. Then take the screws out. Screw it onto the leg, and then put the screws back in. And the holes will already be there with their thread, and the screw will just slot back in without too much pressure. So I think that should do the job. The main problem is getting the staging upside down in the first place and manoeuvring it. It is heavy, but I'd like to get that done. We've got an unsettled week of weather coming up. We had a lot of rain last night and early this morning, then it stopped. Now the sun's out, but there's some real heavy looking clouds. So it's just a joke I saw an awful long time ago. The expression heavy, if you go onto the musical side of things with heavy, you immediately think of, you know, sort of long hair and sort of denims and, you know, think of status quo sort of thing. That's what you think of as heavy, yeah? And I remember seeing a cartoon once where somebody's coming down the road and there's a sign that says heavy plant crossing. well, you think diggers and stuff like that, don't you? Heavy plant as in the building industry. The guy goes around the corner and there's like a triffid with long hair like that going across the road. Tickled me anyway. Heavy plant crossing. Right, it's enough frivolity. I am still allowed to laugh, by the way, so apparently. Yes, I have noticed a few more butterflies getting round in the garden, but we've got an unsettled week weather-wise. I really wanted to crack on and get that shed done, which I would now have to possibly do in smaller chunks, like just do the front, and then the next day do the side, because I'm only doing 2 sides. I can't get round the other 2 sides, I can't get at them. And then the next day come back and do the front again, and then the next day do the side again. That's like half an hour to an hour's work each coat, I suspect. But I need weather. I need good weather to do it, and consecutive good weather. So doesn't sound like we're going to get that this week. Anyway, battery's about to go again. It's blinking at me. So I will see you next time. Thanks for dropping by, and keep yourselves well. Look after yourselves. Get rid of that junk food, you know. When you're driving along and you see that big M, yeah, go past. Don't call in. Oh, Pizza Hut, no. Do yourself some good and get rid of all that rubbish. I mean, I don't eat that sort of thing anyway. I treat a McDonald's as a treat. A special treat, like it's the sort of thing like when my car passes its MOT, I might think, I'm going to have a McDonald's and fries. It's a treat. I don't live off the flipping stuff. Next door do. You can open the dustbin, all you can see is takeaway stuff. It's not good for you. Anyway, I know what's going to be good for me and what's going to get rid of this. How quickly, I don't know, because I've never had to do this sort of thing before. But we'll work at it, and we'll make it work. One way or the other, we'll get all this to work. And then I can get back to what I hope is as good as it can be, whatever that is, and that's unknown. But it probably won't ever be perfect again, but we can head for it. It's still a goal, isn't it? So, yeah. Look after yourselves, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for dropping by.